Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are having a great week. The weather's been awesome. I almost feel like summer's right here. Real quick, I want to show you the answers to the last two homework assignments. I wanted to save them for one moment, which is right now. Grab your books, look at the homework assignment we had, or like the homework, classwork, whatever you guys want to call it these days, the virtual assignment. And I want to see how you did. So I'll give you a second, locate lesson one. This was Monday's homework. Pause me now while you get your books. And I want you to take a look at 1 through 4. I'm hoping gain, plus, loss, lower. You get the difference between positives and negatives. 5 and 6 are opposites. So you'll notice that the arrow is very important in which direction it flows. So the opposite of 4 is -4. You just throw that right in there. And the opposite of -5 is +5. It's just flipping around the other side. All right, let's look at 7 and 8. 7 and 8, you just had to place it on a number line. So hopefully you did a good job with that. This is a negative, so you automatically are excluding the positive side. And obviously a negative is half of a whole, so it would be right in between 0 and -1. And then 4/8, if you simplified this, a couple of you reached out to me, you divide both by 4, you get 1/2, and it's not a negative, so that excludes all negatives, and it fits right here between 0 and 1. All right, let's head down to 9 through 11. Check out my work. I would only accept if you have this work. I want to know the absolute value with 3. How far is that from 0? Positive. Remember, all absolute values come out as positive. Then you would subtract. That's it. That's it. Pause it if you want to check everything over. Last but not least, number 13, the word about tells you to estimate and use that formula I gave you. Here's the answer to number 13. Remember, they want to know how many are yellow. About meaning estimating. So again, pause it if you want to look it over. All right, so then yesterday we had a lesson on comparing and ordering rational numbers. And I want to very slowly show you the answers to these. Okay, I want you to check each one. So I want you to say to yourself, all right, -1 and 5/10. I had it where Mr. Berman has it. Check it off. -1. I had it where Mr. Berman has it. Check it off. I want you to keep score that way. 1/4, it's positive. So it's 1/4 is, it's like a quarter, right? So it's not near $1. It's less than 50 cents, less than half of $1. So I put it right in the middle there. If you had what I had, check it off as well, and so on. Pause it when you're done number 1. That pause button is going to be huge in math, obviously. You're going to need to pause it often. All right, now let's take a look at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, if you were in my class, I would say to you, oh, great, you have the less than symbol here. Great. I'm not going to mark it right unless you have that 2. I want to see. Anytime you see those prison bars, those absolute value bars, I want you to tell me what that value is. Without that value, no credit. All right? Look at all of these points. Make sure you have them where I have them. Make sure it makes some sense. And you need to reach out to me if any of this is tough. All right, I've had some Google Meets on Monday. I've had 6 of them on Tuesday. I'll have 20 or 30 of them today. You just reach out to me and I'll call you up. All right, so today we are going to be plotting points on a coordinate plane. Now, this is always the fun lesson. And the next 6 lessons after this are all fun. They're all drawing on these coordinate planes. So let's get a basic idea of what this is. Now, we call this a coordinate plane, meaning it's flat. We have a couple things that I want you to be aware of. So at first we have an x-axis. So grab your pencil. I want you to go ahead and label this horizontal line the x-axis. That axis goes from left to right. Okay, so if you want up here, you could even draw a line like this for your x-axis. Obviously, if that's your x-axis, then this is your y-axis. And so the y-axis goes vertically up and down. Now, how do I remember that? Pretty basic. You see the tail on the y? Goes up and down, right? And that's how I remember. Now, the origin is the very center where the x and the y-axis meet. We call the origin 0 on the x and 0 on the y. So the origin is 0, 0. And I hope you're taking all these notes. You're going to need them for the next 6 lessons. Then we're going to do some projects. So you're really going to want to focus over the next week and a half, 2 weeks on this stuff. Now, an ordered pair is basically a point. So if I wanted an ordered pair, let's say right here, how is that ordered pair read? Well, you always start at the origin. You always travel on the x-axis first. This would be 6, 4. 6, 4. That is called an ordered pair. They call it a pair because it's 2 numbers. 6 on the x, 4 up on the y. Okay. And last but not least, we have our quadrants down here. Quadrants, quad, think of 4. Drive your quad around the forest. You're doing your 4 tires, right? Quadrilateral, 4 sides. And this is your first quadrant, your second quadrant, your third quadrant, and your fourth quadrant. We'll talk more about quadrants as we go along. But basically, we're going to work on all 4 quadrants over the next 6-7 days. Okay, so let's basically practice plotting some points. So right now, I want you to find a point for me. I'm going to write it down up here, just so you put it right over here. I want you to find -4, -7 on this coordinate plane. So again, your first number is always going to be on the x-axis. Your second number is always going to be on the y-axis. So we start at the origin always. And something I show my kids when I have them in my class is I always kind of refer to a baby. And I say, when you're plotting these points, a baby, does a baby learn how to crawl first, or does a baby learn how to climb first? And obviously we know the answer to that. The baby knows how to crawl first. So we're going to crawl to the -4. And we're going to climb down to the -7. All right. So would you do that for me? All right, my dogs are tearing up my couch right now, so let me get them out of this room. Don't ever get a dog, or at least don't get 2. So one of the things I want you to get used to doing is actually labeling your points as you put them in there. All right, so let's try another one. Let's plot 0, 7. Let's plot 0, 7. Remember, 0 is your x, 7 is your y. All right, so we start at the origin. The baby moves 0, crawls 0, so the baby doesn't move, and then it climbs up to 7. That's 0, 7. All right, let me give you another one. Let's go with 3, -1. 3, -1. And today I'm just going to be plotting points for you. That's it. 3, -1. So we start at the origin. We're going to crawl to the 3. We're going to climb down to the -1. And we're going to go ahead and write 3, -1. And one more. Let's do 9, -8. And again, hopefully you're pausing if I'm going too fast. If I'm going slow, you're staying with me. 9, -8. So we start at the origin. We crawl to 9. We climb down to -8. So we're about right here. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is practice these points if possible. You can make your own points and practice plotting them. Maybe do 2 or 3. and then move on. All right, so here's what I would like you to do for me. I would like you to take 5, 6, 7 minutes today, and I'd like you to practice plotting these points. For instance, F. F is right here, right? So what is F's ordered pair? We start at the origin. We crawl to -3, and we climb up to 2. So F is -3, 2. And that's it. 7 wants you to plot these points and then connect the dots, more or less. So we can do the first one together. We have 1 and 0. We start at the origin. 1 and 0. I always like to label. Try to get in the habit of that. 5 and 0. Start at the origin. 5 and 0. Now, hopefully you've done this in 5th grade, so this hopefully is a bunch of review. 5 and 4. And 1 and 4. And if you do it correctly, you should draw this shape. What shape are we drawing here? Let's see. I know you're saying a square, right? Let's just verify it's a square. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the side. 4 by 4. It's a square. Very good. So we'll write square for number 7. And it looks like we have 8 and 9 that are not numbered below. So what I'd like you to do today is just work on this page. Just this page. And, post a Google Classroom and we'll move on. It's going to get a lot of fun. We're going to be drawing a lot of things. We're going to be building things. So just take your time today. You'll only need about 5 minutes, but practice plotting these points. I hope you guys have a great day. Reach out again. Google Meets. Let's do it. I had, like I said, I had 6 yesterday. Let's do 20 today. Just let me know if you need my help. You guys have a great Thursday, and I'll talk to you soon.